Hi guys, very good morning. So the next chapter is about Python database. How do we connect with database using Python? So for this connectivity, I'm going to use MySQL as my database. It's a free open source. You can download it from net and you can install it. I'll also show you the procedure on how to install it, and then we'll go ahead with connecting to the database and do our CRUD operations. So go to this site dev.mysql.com/download/installer. You will find this particular page. So you could see here I have marked here. Click on this download. You will be able to download the MSI Microsoft installer file. So once you have downloaded, double click on that. Now the next page, it will open a dialog box for you. So in this, make sure that you are installing only server because we don't want anything else to be installed. Our objective is to just make a DB connectivity, not to explore MySQL. So click on server only, what I have circled here, and then say next. Now this window will get open. So leave the default, don't change anything as it is, and say next. So you could see here the port number as W3333306, and that's it. That's very important because in case if the port is already occupied, you know very well, up to 1024 it's occupied, but sometimes the other port from 1025 to 65535, some other software might have occupied the port. In that case, change it. Otherwise, default for this is 3306. Fine, leave it as it is, go for the next one. Now here it will ask you for the password. So by default the user is root in MySQL. So give the password also as a root to start with so that you don't forget. Unnecessarily, if you give some password and forget, then again we need to reinstall it. Uninstall, reinstall, so many things. So I normally give the password root for MySQL, ROOT, and then say next. Then you'll have this apply configuration dialog box. So in the bottom you see finish there, but before that you will have something called as execute. Click on the execute. The click will appear. Before the click, it will be in cross mark, the red cross mark is there. So just say or red cross mark or nothing will be there. I mean it will be blank. Now you say execute, all will have this green tick mark. Now at times you may have this particular step may fail. The reasons for failure could be one, the port might have been already occupied, or already MySQL will be running, or sometimes your firewall will be on. So check for those things. Fine, and again go for reinstalling, it will get installed. Click on finish. There the installation is complete. Now in order to check whether MySQL is installed or not, go to this run. Here you can see. Here if you type MySQL, you will get MySQL here. See, now click on this, you will be able to open MySQL. If this is opening, congratulations, you have successfully installed MySQL. I'm just trying to increase the font size so that okay, fine. So that's how. Now if I give root password, so it enters. That's what this stuff is all about. Okay. Now I have, ran few queries in MySQL. See, it's an RDBMS. Please understand, RDBMS is a relational database management system where you are going to have tables with relationships. DBMS also have tables, but the relationships will not be strong. Whereas RDBMS will have relationships like association, aggregation, then generalization. These relationships will be supported by this RDBMS. As per the CORD rule, the 14 rules which CORD has specified, based on that, the RDBMS is created. So MySQL is one such RDBMS. Likewise, Oracle is there, MySQL is there, Ingress is there, Postgres is there. There are many RDBMSs available in the market. Now here, there are some queries which you need to execute in order to work with RDBMS. We call this as SQL, Structured Query Language. Now, if you run SQL inside MySQL, then you can work with this database. So, what do we do with the database? Very simple. We create tables. We create tables. Tables is the one which is the right way to store data. So tables will contain rows and columns. So that means it supports two-dimensional data structure. So it makes it easy to represent complex data, like one invoice, many items, one item, many prices, one class, many students. This type of data can be only represented in a table, easily represented in a table. So here, let me execute those commands. The first and foremost command is I need to create a database. So let me say create database, find my DB-1. So I have created a database, and if I have to use the database, I have to say use my DB-1. So every time you end that, you end with a semicolon. Now that we have the my DB-1 file, I mean you're inside that. Now if you say show tables, this will be empty. Nothing will be there. So we need to create tables. It's an empty database which we have created. To create a table, I can use this command create table name. Let's say users and then UID int of file. This is a language which one needs to learn. We'll issue few commands here. You learn few things here to start with, and then you can have any number of columns. In order to have a character string, you can say varchar of some size. You pass varchar of let's say 8. So give a semicolon at the end. It says, see where a cat I have to go. So it should have been where cat, correct? So here we have created the database, I mean table. So we can say that, see that basically show tables. Here we are, and if I want to see the table, there we are. And if I want to see what is inside the table, I can say select star from users. There is a query, it's a reading query, selecting data from the table and trying to display that. Right now it's empty, it's giving empty set. If you want to insert values, that is also quite simple. You can say insert into users values of 1 comma. Here you can say rock, then rocky. So here we are. If I want, I can insert one more. Chop, choppy, something like that. So now I can say select star from users. So here we are. So that's it. See? So it's pretty easy. You need to memorize these SQL commands. You have seen insert query. How about update query? You can also update the table. You can say update users set you pass equal to find secret where UID equal to 1. You can say this will change that particular. What is where? Where is a class by which I can specifically say a particular row. So now if I'm going to say this, see shop. Fine guys. So update query is done. Let me also show you one more query, delete. So delete from users where UID equal to 5. So that's how we do creation, retrieval, updation, deletion in database in a simple sense. So got it, ma? Is that clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next one. Now that we have done with this, we are done with the installation of MySQL. Now, how do I make the connection with PyCharm for MySQL, and also how do I do my CRUD operations using Python? Now, for that, we have to do some steps. Follow these steps, things will be quite cool, of course. See, already if you remember, we have gone to my computer in the initial classes, and we have set the path for Python. Now we need to set one more path. Now let me go there, this PC, right click, properties, here advanced system settings, environment variables. Okay, we have this path, right? See, already we have set this path Python 3.11. This path, correct or not? This is a place where my Python is installed. Now you got to go for this directory also. There is one more directory inside Python called as scripts. Now for that also set the path. For that also set the path. Because we have some files there which we need to execute from everywhere, from anywhere. So set this path also. That means you got to create a new path and then go to this directory and select scripts. So these two paths should be there in the environmental path. So say okay, okay, and okay. Now you know very well, if you go to CMD, if you say path, your path will be there, correct? So you could see here, Python 3.11 path is there, scripts path is also there. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. Okay, this is the first step you need to do. Now why I'm calling this as MySQL connector is, see, database is different, Python is different. Now if these two have to connect, then there should be a connector. And MySQL provides a connector for Python. Not only Python, basically for every language, there will be a connector available. So we need to use that connector and talk to the MySQL database. So that we need to set now. So that's why I'm calling this as Python DB MySQL connector. So step 1 is set this path. Step 2. Now the MySQL connector file is available in this pypi.org. If you go to this site, py, now let me show you this directly. It's a very unique site. Remember this. A lot of Python packages are available here. So we'll use first MySQL connector to start with. So here you need to search for MySQL connector. Now select this. Here you will have the MySQL connector. Got it. If you click on this, it will get downloaded. Now download this. See. So download files. Here you can see file, source distribution. Okay, click this, download this. This will get downloaded to your local folder, correct? In your downloads it will be available. You can see here in downloads this will be available. Okay, it's a tad.gz file. Okay, now what you do is it's in downloads folder, right? I mean, place it in some other place where you have your Python files, so that it can be accessed properly. Now I have mentioned that in the PPT also. See here. So once you have downloaded, see these steps you can follow. Fine. So here in the download folder, fine, you have this. Now that you have this zip file, now what you do is you extract that to a folder. So let me copy this somewhere else, d colon somewhere, wherever you feel like. Let's say I have some folder, then copy it here and extract this. So here we are. Fine, guys. So now that you have come to this place, now say there you will have a distribution folder. Say this. So here you will have basically one more zip file. You got to unzip that. This will not be there. This will not be there. So unzip this. Okay. So this is basically our distribution folder where we have all the files located. So what you do is you go to that location, cd my, okay, and here you have all the files. You can see here setup.py is there. So now what you should do, see here, now you need to say pip install MySQL connector. Now pip is the file which is there in the script package of Python. So that we have already given in the path. So this will automatically pick up that file. Pip here, pip, and then you got to say install MySQL connector. So look at it, so simple, right? So see this. Now if it is already installed, it will say it is already installed. If it is not installed, it will ask you, do you want to install? You go ahead, install it. File requirement already satisfied, it is saying. That means I've already installed it because I worked for this, I worked on this earlier. So it's, I have already installed it. So it's there. So you just run this and get it installed. There it gets installed. Got it, guys? Is that clear? Fine. So this is how it will be. So it will say blah 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 running setup blah blah successfully added. So once you are done with this, your MySQL connector is now associated with your Python installation. Now what you have to do? Now that's all not sufficient. Now you need to configure your PyCharm because you are using PyCharm. So if you're using Jupyter or Tortoise, whichever ID you're using, you need to go configure that. So here PyCharm needs to be configured, and you can see here, go open PyCharm. Here you have something called as menu, okay, file menu, go to settings. In the settings, you can go to this location. So you can see here to go to your Python file, that project. Under that project, you will have that the menus where you can go and add this. Okay. So select your project Python and then interpreter and then click the plus sign. So shall we do that also? So here, file, settings. So here I need to go for my project. So this is my project and Python interpreter. So now here already I have installed. What you have to do is you got to say plus sign. For you that MySQL connector will not come there. So click on plus sign. So this particular dialog box will open. Now look at the PPT itself what needs to be done. Now here you search for MySQL. So you could see here MySQL connector will come. So select this, right, and see here, type MySQL search, select MySQL and then click install packages. So you can see here, could you see that install package? So you got to select MySQL connector Python. So there are a lot of things there. MySQL connector is there, MySQL connector async is there, Python is there. So for me it's already installed. So for you, click on this, say install package. Now when you do that, what is the next step you get? Fine. So you will, since already you have done pip, so it will have a green color thing and it will get installed. That's it, miss. So once you are done with this, congratulations, setup is complete. So after this, come out of this, your PyCharm is now ready for database operations. Cool. Okay. Now that we are through with this, let's check this out. Let's see whether Python has really accepted no, MySQL connection, and whether we can really work on this. So for this, first of all, the first check is say import MySQL. Yes, I'm getting MySQL dot connector. So I'm able to import that. That means it is installed perfectly. In case if you are not getting this, check the steps. Number one, or restart your PyCharm. You'll be able to get this. Sometimes, fine, we may have to. Okay. Now, in order to connect to the database, we need to create a connection. See, please understand the syntax or the settings. I mean, are very same, and in fact, we need to follow the same steps again and again. We need to follow the same steps again and again. So just specify the connection details. You can create a connection. Any language, as a matter of fact, if you are working with database, you need to establish a connection. Once you establish a connection, then you can do the CRUD operation. Remember, the database is running in your machine. The user ID is password, and the user ID is root, and password is also root. And with this information, you can make the connection. So how do you do that? For this, you got something called as mysql.connector.connect. Fine. So you can say my connection, or rather mysql.connector.connect. Right? It accepts these three parameters. That is a dictionary basically, kind of. So it accepts a host, user, password, and the database name also. So this is going to return you an object, so connection object. So let me give you the details here one by one. Host means the place where the database is running, local host. My machine is always referred as local host in a URL. And if I want, I can say this port number, but by default the port number is 3306. If I have changed that, then you can give. Otherwise, you don't need to give. It will take by default. So let's say here, okay. Now say user equal to root, and then password equal to root. Mine is same, right? And database equal to the one which I created. What database I created? I created, fine. If you go to the show database, what is the database I created? Use my DB-1. Yeah. Okay. Show tables. Yes. So I'll give the database name as my DB-1. Cool. Now that I have created this, I can very well check whether I'm getting the connection. Let me say print. So let's run this, and if this works, that means okay. I have changed my it's not 3306, so no issues. I'll run without that. It will take the default. Congratulations, your connection is done. Okay, that's it, guys. So these details are enough to establish a connection. Without a connection, you cannot work with the database. And once you have the connection done, now you can do all your CRUD operations with the database. Got it? Is that clear? Okay, let me stop with this. In the next video, we'll talk about how to do your CRUD operations with the database. Okay, so thank you very much. See you next session.